Chair, I think you can start the meeting now.
Thank you, Elaine. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to this remote hearing of the Council Standards Panel. We now go to agenda item 5, which is the decision as to whether Councillor Gauntlet failed to comply with the Code of Conduct for members, and if applicable, whether to impose any sanction in respect of that failure. As panel chair, I will now read out the panel's decision and reasons. Having carefully considered the investigator's written report and the verbal submissions made by all parties at today's hearing and have taken account of the views of the independent person, the panel concludes as follows. Excuse me. 1. The panel accepts the investigator's observations at paragraph 5.13 that there were circumstances during Councillor Gauntlet's relationship with Miss Rigby-Foe when he was acting in his capacity as chair of Lewes District Council, and that he was therefore subject to the Council's Code of Conduct at these times. 2. The panel also agreed that Councillor Gauntlet's conduct during those times came within the scope of paragraphs 3.1, 3.2 subsection B, 5 and 6A of the Code of Conduct. These elements of the code relate to respect, bullying, harassment, not bringing your office or authority into disrepute, and not using your position as a member improperly to confer on or secure for yourself or any other person an advantage or disadvantage. 3. The panel noted that Councillor Gauntlet had on many occasions recognised the work Miss Rigby-Foe had done in the early days of the Green Havens network. The panel also recognised that both parties had the best interest of the Green Havens network at heart and wanted the lottery bid to produce the best outcome for local communities. 4. The panel agreed with the investigator's findings that Councillor Gauntlet did not treat Miss Rigby-Foe disrespectfully, nor did he bully or harass her, nor did he conduct himself in a manner that could reasonably be regarded as bringing his office or authority into disrepute in relation to the allegation that he did not declare his interests in breach of the Code of Conduct under paragraphs 3.1, 3.2 subsection B or 5 for the reasons stated in the investigator's report. 5. The panel then addressed the difficult issue of whether Councillor Gauntlet had complied with paragraph 6A of the Code of Conduct. This provision of the code consists of 3 significant elements. First, using one's position as a member to confer on oneself an advantage. Second, and alternatively, using that position to disadvantage someone else. And third, that either of these acts be done improperly. The panel found no evidence to support the allegation that Councillor Gauntlet had improperly used his position to confer on himself an advantage. While it was alleged that Councillor Gauntlet wanted to take control of the lottery bid submission in order to secure himself a position on the Council's cabinet, the panel concluded that any such evidence of such conduct was purely anecdotal and hearsay and could not, therefore, be relied on. The panel considered in detail the 3 emails which Councillor Gauntlet wrote on the 3rd of April 2020, the 1st of May 2020 and the 30th of May 2020. If any of these emails did confer a disadvantage on Miss Rigby-Foe, the panel felt that this had not been Councillor Gauntlet's intention. Rather, the panel felt that Councillor Gauntlet had written to the various parties in good faith and in the wider public interest because he was seeking the best outcome for the lottery bid, which he personally felt was being disrupted by Miss Rigby-Foe's actions. The panel noted that Councillor Gauntlet had copied Miss Rigby-Foe's employer into his emails of the 3rd of April and the 1st of May 2020. However, in both instances, Councillor Gauntlet included an explanation as to why he had done that, namely that he wanted Miss Rigby-Foe's employer to be aware of her actions while on furlough. In addition, the panel felt it appropriate for Councillor Gauntlet to have raised this with her employer because of the council's own contractual arrangement with them. Further, the panel could find no direct link between Councillor Gauntlet's emails sent on those dates and Miss Rigby-Foe being made redundant. With regard to Councillor Gauntlet's communications to Leslie Boniface on the 3rd of May 2020, the panel felt that Councillor Gauntlet was acting in the public interest in seeking to recover the £1,000 donated from his discretionary Chairs Fund, because he was concerned that under a new Green Havens Network constitution, the funds might be spent in a manner that conflicted with Councillor Gauntlet's original aim in a way that would be of less benefit to the wider community. For these reasons, the panel found that Councillor Gauntlet had not breached paragraph 6A of the Code of Conduct. Point 6, incidental to the above findings, the panel wishes to recognise the difficulties for councillors when balancing several public roles and communicating clearly in what role they are operating on at any given time. This is especially true where a councillor is writing in one email in multiple parties both within and outside of the council, as it may not immediately be clear in which capacity they are communicating. In view of the decision that Councillor Gauntlet did not fail to comply with the Code of Conduct, it is not necessary for the panel to go on to consider whether any sanction should be taken in respect of Councillor Gauntlet's conduct.